And here we are for another episode of The Quest, and we got a classic. We got a classic.
We do.
I know we don't. We don't do too many. We occasionally go back in time.
Yep.
Okay. We occasionally go back.
Going back in time here.
No, not at all. We occasionally go back in time. We don't do back to backs, but we occasionally
go. Boys.
The Lost Boys is the episode on the discussion. The short discussion, I guess you would say, and spoiler free. If you haven't which shocks me that there are people, including yourself,
and myself, because I was gonna say,
I can't believe you as being a horror because all right, in all perspectives, this is a cheesy B horror movie.
I was gonna get on you about that shit too because you hyped this movie, right? But I actually didn't enjoy it that much.
That's wild because you love. You know what? Yeah. This actually is for one, it's a classic, right? I think this might have been my very first enjoyed vampire film as a kid.
Was it? Now I will tell you, there's one thing I fucking enjoyed in this movie: the fucking soundtrack.
Oh yeah, no, well, not even just that. The classic song, "Cry Little Sister."
Yes, they use it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's been covered so many times throughout the years. A lot of people know that song, but don't know the movie that it's from. And this is the movie that's from.
And they also had, oh my God, what song? I forget right now, but it was jam-packed with great music.
Well, I mean, it's 80s. It's the 80s. So
yeah,
this movie came out in 1987. So
okay,
and even it had the cast you would expect from a 19 dude. I'll go into the cast right now because the cast for this is exactly what you would expect from an 80s movie. Especially, here's the thing. All right, in all perspective, if you watch it now, this movie it feels like a B movie, right? It is a horror B movie, right?
It feels that way, but
but it's not.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. And in its time, this movie was not. This movie was a AAA movie in its time. The cast, I will go into the cast. Kiefer Sutherland for one, okay?
Mm-hmm. That was the main vampire,
wasn't
it? No, that was it was.
He's the main. He's the main guy. Besides,
he's the main guy.
Without giving any spoilers, he's the main guy, but there's a little bit more that goes to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then of course you had Corey Helm, which another '80s fucking actor,
a young boy.
That was Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course you had. Jason Patrick, which played Michael Erison. That was Michael. That was the big brother.
What? That was the one that was.
He was the older brother. He was the one that they were attracted to. Basically, he's the one that drank the blood. Corey Feldman, which you can't have an '80s movie without fucking Corey Feldman. Right? He's in every fucking '80s movie. Let's see. There's a lot of other ones in here. Oh fuck! Here's another one. They had Alex Winter, which played. He was one of the vampires. But do you know who he is?
I do not.
Bill and Ted. He was fucking Ted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he was in a lot of other shit too, but I'm just saying that's who he was from. So, I mean, the cast was everything that I mean, not everything. You know what this film was missing? You know what would have made this an actual better vampire film? I'm going to say it. And it would have been perfect around this time. It would have been perfect for him.
Who's that?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. If Keanu Reeves was in this, or one of three people. There are three people. This movie came out in 1987. There are three actors that could have made this movie even better. Okay? Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves being one of them. Tom Cruise. Okay? Because Tom Cruise was later on into the early 90s, he was already in a vampire flick. He was in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay? Mm-hmm. Right? That was him, right? Was that Tom Cruise or was that Keanu? No, that was Keanu Reeves.
Was it Keanu Reeves? It was Mr. Wicks, huh? Mr. Wicks in the 80s.
Oh, a bit. Well, no, that one was 90s. But no, okay, regardless. Tom Cruise would have been great in this. Keanu Reeves would have been great in this. Or, what was the third one? Oh, my God. I had a third one. I can't believe I just fucking completely dropped the ball on that. I had a third one. And now I completely lost it. Those two, though. Those two would have actually made... Oh, Johnny Depp.
Amazing that... Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp. Because Johnny Depp's career was in its beginnings at this point. Because his first career that I remember him was Nightmare on Elm Street 1. He was a kid that got sucked into the bed and spit out the blood on the ceiling.
Mm.
Yeah, that was his earliest film that I can remember him being in. So yeah, Johnny Depp could have been in this movie too. And all three of them, it would have screamed 80s with either three of those actors. It would have screamed 80s and it would have made the movie so much better.
Mm.
Oh man, I got another. You know what? After this show, I got another classic that which it stars Tom Cruise, and it's a classic, way back fucking classic that we might have to do. Which, if you haven't seen it, I won't mention it here. We'll leave it as a spoiler free of what we do here on the channel. Yeah. But yeah, no. Okay, tell me what you did not like about this film, because now I'm curious. Because I thought you would be like, man, this is so cheesy. I love it.
It was cheesy. It was extremely cheesy, but off-screen kills throughout the whole damn thing. I hope I didn't ruin nothing for anybody.
Well, no, I mean, it's 80s. I mean, that was a big thing in the 80s.
They didn't show much. And just, it was wrapped around cheesiness. You know, the whole kids being like the heroes of the movie kind of. Well, the
little one-liners and shit.
Yeah, the one-liners. But other than that, it was
weird. That's the thing. That's the weird thing for me with you. Like, I thought you would love all that shit. Like, is the movie all right? When the movie came out, it was 80s humor, right? So, in the 80s, it was probably...
it's definitely dated, but
it didn't age well. The jokes that
were in the movie were still good, yeah.
Well, that's just that. It didn't age very well. The makeup, surprisingly, wasn't half bad. For the 80s, like when they actually got to turn into vampires, which I will tell you this is also in the time when, and we are making a comeback to this, and I love this because we went through that 10 years, that decade that vampires were bitches.
The pretty vampires,
the Twilight era.
Vampires were fucking,
No, this is when vampires were they were beautiful when they were in regular form, and they were monsters when they were in monster form, right? Yeah. That's what vampires. Yes, vampires can be beautiful, but they're only beautiful when they're luring people. Once they're ready to attack, then they're supposed to turn into monsters, demons, vampires. So the makeup, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was. It was all right.
Cheesy. Where the part that was cheesy to me was when they're hanging upside down.
Well, with the feet.
Yeah, with the feet.
Their little bat feet that they had.
Like bats and shit. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is definitely 80s.
It definitely was. Like the movie is the main reason why this film had to be watched is because all right, I would have never picked this film for this. It was until you said I never seen it, and I'm like, how the fuck did you never see this?
Seen it. I don't know.
Like, this is a movie you have to watch, right? Even if you hate it, you still have to watch it because it's one of those classics. You got to check it off your list.
Yeah. Exactly.
Plus, it's Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't give a fuck. Kiefer Sutherland was an OG back in the day when he actually could act. Nowadays, he doesn't really get many roles, right? He's kind of washed up.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't even matter. His career didn't go in the direction that he thought it would be, and it's probably because of like the drugs and shit that he had his spot at past. It is what it is.
He had his time.
He definitely did. Now, okay. Now, mind you, we have to address this a little differently because this is a dated movie, 1987.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep in mind when we talk about the budget is what inflation. Okay, we have to always consider that.
Right. Yeah, taking away inflation. Yeah. So
adding inflation because it would have to be inflation, right?
Adding.
What would this amount of money? I don't know I'm not a fucking I just know it would be much higher, okay?
Do you know it?
I know what the actual budget and box office was, yes.
Okay, let me guess because I don't know.
Okay, so what do you think that the budget had for this film?
It was all. I'm gonna say this movie could not surpass 300 grand.
Wow. Which, don't get me wrong, 300 grand in 1987 was a reasonable amount of money.
Yeah.
But you're way off.
Today it would be like 1.5 million maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
But you're way off.
Oh, I am.
Way
Tell
off.
me.
The movie had a budget. Now, mind you, this was 1987, so it's higher. The movie had a budget of 8.5 million.
And they spent it on what?
Probably Kiefer Sutherland.
I'm saying because
Now, mind you, okay, keep this in mind. Practical effects were a lot more expensive back then, and this movie all practical effects. Practical effects.
We're jumping off the train and all that shit.
Scenery, light, the soundtrack alone, all that shit, right? Like
the gore was practical. Too.
All the gore was very practical, and it did have gore in it. It wasn't like outrageous gore, but I mean, they had a very messy scene at one point in time. So it did have gore in it. So yeah, that. But now mind you, that's going to be a lot. If that movie was released now,
that
would be a lot
15, almost $20 million.
Yeah, around maybe about that. Yeah, $20 million for the film. But now, given that in mind, so the film had an $8.5 million. What do you think the box office was for this film?
I'm going to say it was at least $12 million.
Wow. You're way off today.
Oh, shit. What was it?
The film had a box office of $32.2 million.
Okay. Right.
So it was a success.
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, $8 million. I also remember a lot of the music they played was top-notch music at the time. So maybe royalty rights went into that.
Royalty rights. But again, keep in mind, it made back. It doubled what it made back.
I mean, it doubled its money. Yeah, tripled it.
So it was a success. In all accounts, it was a success. So if anything, I don't know. Let's just spitball. I don't know. Maybe that's like 40 to 50 million.
50 million
today, right?
So, yeah.
For a budget of that, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
It made back.
That was $8 million. Yeah.
So it was a success. It's crazy because you have to look at what it was. 1987. At that point, I was.
Let me tell you, I was born in 82.
I was 4 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I would have been like 5. I'm a year older than you.
You would. Yeah, you would have been 5 years old when this film came out.
Been like 5 years old. Yeah.
And I remember watching this. I didn't watch this. Like I watched this around like 89. So by the time, because I didn't see it when it came out, because I was only 4 years old.
You seen it early then? I mean, still.
Yeah, no,
you were
I
only like 8 years old when you seen it.
Dude, I watched. I remember being taken to see Chucky when I was very, 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 very young. Horror movies were not something that my family kept away from me, and I love that for that because I love horror movies. But yeah, 1987. I probably seen this movie on VHS tape. Yes, VHS tape.
Yeah, we're that old, folk.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I think I seen this on VHS around 89. I think it was. I have a feeling I was at my grandparents' house, sitting around doing, the weekend movies that we would do.
Yeah.
And we sit in front of the big old tube and put on a VHS tape. And I believe this is one of them. It's
funny how movies, when you watch them, like I've watched movies that literally came out in 2001, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them today, and they look dated, but at the time they were perfect. Like how does that? It does that in the brain, I guess.
When this movie, like that's all right. When I hyped this, mind you, I hadn't watched this movie in ages. So me going, oh my God, you have to see this movie. I'm going off my memories. Now, is this movie goofy? Is this movie the greatest movie ever made? No. And why, yo, if you would have asked me back in like the 90s, I was like, yeah, man, you need to watch The Lost Boys. What the fuck? Yo, this movie spawned 2 other sequels.
I heard about that. Yeah.
It has 2 other. The last sequel I think was made in 2010. The third one.
Oh, was it? And wasn't there a TV show called The Lost Boys?
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was
there
based
a
on the
show.
same thing.
I know there was like The Lost Boys. There was like Ritual, and then the Lost Boys. The last one was like The Thirst or some shit like that. I can't remember. I had only ever watched the first one because the other ones looked really bad. The cast wasn't very that interesting. The plot looked really bad. I'm like,
did they bring back the original cast for the other ones?
no,
They wouldn't do that.
no,
Like,
no. For obvious
like-
reasons. For obvious reasons.
they were like cheaper version of the original
Yeah,
movie,
the budget was definitely lower than this film. But no, for all accounts, this movie was a success, and I'm actually kind of surprised. Like I said, I know you love because all right, when this movie came out, like I said, it was not a 80s B movie. It was a AAA title. I mean, it had AAA actors in it, right?
Music and too.
Music, everything. Yeah,
the soundtrack. Like,
and it wasn't what for. All right, keep in mind when you're thinking production too, you have to keep in mind the time that it was made.
Yeah.
Like if this movie would this movie hold up today? No, it did not age well.
Yeah, no, it would definitely look like a B movie.
It would definitely be a movie. It's not an A movie. It's definitely a B movie. If we're talking in the, but mind you, that we're talking shit
I mean,
several decades ago.
Cheesy.
Oh yeah,
the cave looked like it was made out of plastic,
sure.
like the walls and shit.
Absolutely. But at the time though,
okay.
that was like the shit.
Maybe that's what. Maybe I'm just hyper focusing on watching it now. You know what I mean? I should be thinking more like, let me pretend I'm back in 1987.
You know what I said? You know, I
look at it from that direction.
I watched this with my wife, and she actually sat through it, which is surprising. I didn't really think she was going to sit through this one, but I sat through it with her, and I said something to her that I noticed. When I watch movies that go back to I remember all this shit. And the way everything sounds and looks, you would think that that's just the way that the movies. No, that like art when the way everything sounds different now. Like for example, when they were doing the beach sounds and you heard the waves crashing and shit. That's how I remember the '80s sounding, dude. Carnivals and shit. Also, I remember that shit. All that shit. Everything looked the way that looked. The way you see people, the dress code. The way people dress, everything. It was all accurate. Everything. I remember all that shit.
Accurate to the time,
yeah. And it just, I get throwbacks, dude. Like I get like, it throws me back to like, wow, I remember that.
Even though that we were so young in the '80s, I loved it.
No, it's my favorite. Like I loved it. Now, mind you, the soundtrack was half and half, right? Because this was at a time when the music style was changing, right? So hair bands and new wave music wasn't the big thing at this time.
Right.
It was more softer rock.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like 87 to 90s. It was like
it was softer rock and like softer I don't want to say it was like poppy R&B. There was like poppy R&B and then soft rock was the big thing towards the late 80s. It was before the grunge era that started in the 90s. The early 80s would have been like hairband rock and metal and new wave.
And the new wave, yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite fucking era right there. Bright ass colors, fucking loud music, dancing, wild hair, fucking bright ass clothes.
Dudes had wild hair, man.
You couldn't tell you couldn't you were you were getting into it like if you were in an 80s orgy, you didn't know who you were banging.
You know who's who. You see hair.
You see hair and ass, and you're just like, all right. It was the 80s, man. Yo, I'm gonna say that's why. Oh, man, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. That's why AIDS was such a big deal in the 80s. Everybody was just fucking. Everybody's like, I can't tell.
Yeah, can't tell.
Can't tell.
Gorgeous hair, and it's going to be a dude.
You're sitting there just, yeah, baby, you like that? You're feeling it, feeling the hair, and you're like, yeah, baby, get me. What? Oh,
that shit. Must well keep it in. I mean, you're going.
They were, it was very petite, very feminine shape too, right? They weren't like buff guys.
Looked feminine.
Yeah, very feminine. I mean, come on, we had Twisted Sister, even though he was the ugliest drag queen I ever seen. Like there was nothing attractive about him.
What was his name? Peterson.
Wow, I'm so ashamed of myself. That's not Peter Steele.
Yeah, I forget. Who was the lead singer of Twisted Sisters? I forget.
I'm brain farting. It's late. It's late right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh fuck! I just had it. Slater. Fuck. I can't. It's too late. I know the name.
I don't know.
I know who it is. I just
I
can't
don't think it
remember.
was Slider. I would remember.
No, it's
that.
something similar. It's I'm not even gonna put that much effort into it.
Immense? No.
No, it's something.
No, no.
It's I know the name. I just can't
Fuck
remember it. And I'm ashamed of myself for it.
This is the third. We've filmed. We've been filming all
Yeah,
night.
it's been a busy fucking day. So it's been production in the studio. But yeah, no. Regardless, I did have. I was actually hoping you would like this movie more because I know you like cheesy shit.
I love cheesy shit, and that's how. Yeah, it's surprising. I'm gonna attribute it to the age of the movie.
It didn't age
Maybe.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. And not to say it wasn't engaging. I mean, I watched the whole thing in one shot. It was, can't wait for this movie to be done. But it wasn't what I was expecting. I think
maybe you were expecting a more darker movie. Is that what you were expecting?
More darker, more action driven.
Not as campy as it was, maybe, because it's very campy. It's very campy.
Very campy. Very
like the only thing that this film didn't have, the only thing that this fucking film didn't have as far as campiness goes is, well, that too.
They didn't have titties.
But no, besides that, which they had a sex scene in it, and they perfect timing, but they didn't do it.
Very, very soft core, yeah.
Very, very soft core. But no, they didn't have the, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the vampire.
The vampire thing. Yeah. That's if they would have did that, it would have been complete. It would have been like, yep, there it is, cheesiness. Everything else was there. Everything else was there. I mean, shit, they were hanging upside down with bat feet.
Yeah, I do that part. Fuck me up. I'm like, oh my Jesus. Yeah, this is cheesy as shit.
It's very cheesy.
Yeah.
It's very cheesy. But I mean, it's 80s. I mean, there's not many films. I'm going to tell you right now. There are not many films that you're going to watch from the 80s.
Yeah, that aren't
cheesy.
Yeah.
That was just the thing in the 80s, dude. Like, 80s were just cheesy, man. Yeah. We didn't start getting serious about films. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were series. I mean, you had your Rambos and shit like that. But even Rambos were cheesy.
Oh, well,
they would always have they would always have like, he would always have like, they always have those like one-liners and shit. Don't get me started on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was a big thing in the 80s.
Yeah, one-liners and shit. Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Come with me if you want to live. Like, you know, it's just like, it's like you put it on a t-shirt. We call them memes nowadays, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I don't know. I don't know. I was hoping you were actually going to enjoy this one as much as you definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I thought you would. But getting into that, let's get the scores out of the way because that's where we're at in the series. As we do here every episode, if you are new to the show, I will give you a little rundown. We give a score. We have 4 topics that we give scores 1 through 5, one in betweens as well. So that's 1.5, 2.5, so forth and so on. We give that on story, acting, gore, and production. We give that our scores. If it's below a 1, it gets a noble pile. If it's above a 5, it gets a noble seal. Then we go on to our woke meter, which it has to be in there because it's part of the show. Part of the show. That was rough.
Yeah, it's probably hurt like mine says right now.
Just a little bit. But there wasn't really much wokeness at that time, but we still have to do it. It's part of the series. And then, of course, we give it the overall meter. So, with that said, let's move over to you. What do you give the story for The Lost Boys?
The story might have been fresh when it was first filmed. Now, not so much. But I did enjoy the story. I gave it a 3.
Oh wow, okay.
I gave it a 3. Yeah.
All right.
It wasn't. Maybe if I would have watched it at the time, it would have been like, oh, this is fresh. But a 3. Yeah.
Ironically enough, now mind you, a lot of these scores I am putting myself in my younger self. I'm trying to remember. I can't really remember the excitement I had for this film, but I'm trying, right? So I'm trying to be there. I'm trying to be in the moment. And ironically, I also gave the story a 3.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking.
Whoa, not even in its time, it wasn't even groundbreaking.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It was an okay movie, though. It wasn't, if you're looking to kill some time, especially now, right? I'm not saying, oh man, this is right now in its peak right now. This is a streaming movie. Don't rent it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Unless you're a classics person,
exactly.
Unless you love classic movies, like especially horror movies, then sure, give it a rent. But
if you collect movies, then definitely
oh,
buy
definitely
because
buy it. It should be in your
It
collection.
has to be on a shelf. Yeah.
No,
if you
it is a
collect.
classic. It is you can't have
Yeah.
classic horror movies without having The Lost Boys. It is a
Right.
classic horror movie. So if you are a collector, absolutely. But as far as like watching it, I say watch it. Right now, this is on Max, I think. Yeah, it was on Max.
It was Max. Yeah.
If you're watching this at the time and it's no longer on Max, because, it can happen, find it. If it's not, and you're not really like, it's not something you really need to hardcore watch, then wait. I wouldn't say spend money on it unless you're hardcore about it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to stay streaming somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, you can rent it, sure, but I'm pretty sure it's going to bounce around from stream service to stream service.
Yeah.
It's a classic. It has to be around. All right, moving on to the next one. What do you give the acting for The Lost Boys?
For the time, I thought it was superb acting. It wasn't like it didn't blow me away or anything like that. I gave it a 3.5, but
Wow.
it was okay acting. I wasn't disappointed in the acting, but even the kid was good actually. Because kids back in the 80s were cheesy as hell, and he did a good. All the three kids did a good job.
You know what? This is where I was torn because I did put myself back when I was younger. Now, mind you, when I had originally watched this movie, I was probably around 6 years old, right? So I adored the acting when I was 6. But fast forwarding now to me, 40 years old, I hated the fucking acting in this fucking movie, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst I've ever seen, but man, it was super campy.
It was cheesy campy, yeah. I mean, but
I'm not a Corey Feldman fan. I'm not. I've never been. Even when I was younger, I couldn't stand him. Mm-hmm. He was in all kinds of shit, the Goonies and all that shit. Can't stand him. Mm-hmm. Never could. Never good.
Yeah. I think they did all right. They did all right.
I give it a 2.
Okay.
I gave it a 2. I tried. Average. I wanted to really go, but I'm like, okay, 6-year-old me was okay with this. But 40-year-old me fucking hated that.
That's again, kids are always going to be driven to other kids on TV.
That's what I'm saying. So, I want to, the shit that they said in this movie. You're a bloodsucker, man. Oh, shut the fuck up. Like, slap the shit out of you. Like,
oh, man.
No, they did. He was
running up the stairs and he said he was a shit sucker.
I won't even say when this happened, but they did do the in the movie. Never mind. I take it back. It was in the movie. I remember. Yeah. So it was complete cheesy. It's totally campy because they even had the moment in it. Yeah. Whatever.
I know he was hissing when he got that, the holy water thrown in his face. Maybe it was during that.
There's that, but there was more yelling than anything else. But yeah, no, all right. So I give it a 2. I give it a 2 on that one. Moving on to the gore score. Now, mind you, keep in mind the time this was made.
That's my biggest disappointment. All the kills were off camera. Mm-hmm. And even after that, it was barely any kills. It was more. I was so disappointed. I'm gonna give it I gave it a 2.5 simply because I'm gonna take into account that it was the 80s, but it didn't amaze me today at all.
No, and you know what? I'm right there with you. I also gave it a 2.5. There was a lot of movies that had a lot more gore. I mean, shit, Alien was an old one, 80s in the movie, and that still had more gore.
It came around the same time, yeah, and it was.
There's quite a few 80s movies that were. I mean, shit, zombie movies in the 80s were fucking gory as hell.
Right.
So I give this. It did have gore. It had whatever.
I think this movie was because it was such a success and everything, and they planned it this way. It was meant to attract everybody in the genre. Sure. Like PG-13 movies are today.
I don't know what you know what I didn't look up the rating for because the rating would have been different now.
It would have been different, yeah.
Like an R movie now would be PG-13. I mean, an R movie in the 80s would have been PG-13 now.
Right.
Because now you can get away. PG-13 movies have blood and cursing and all that other shit in PG-13, right? Yeah. But yet when you get into R, it's more like they have sex in it and shit. That's when you get in that. So yeah, a rated R movie in the 80s would probably be PG-13 now.
This movie probably was pushing the envelopes in the 80s.
Might have. I don't know.
Maybe not pushing the envelope.
I don't even think they were pushing that hard, honestly. Because I've seen quite a lot of 80s movies that were worse.
This movie was designed for all ages.
No, I do agree. I definitely do because it definitely played safe. And again, it had Corey Feldman in it. And Corey Feldman's never been in anything that has ever pushed the boundaries of adult stuff. At least not back then it wasn't. All right. So even 2.5. What do you, now mind you, again, keep this in mind of the time. What do you give the production for this film?
it wasn't ugly. It wasn't. It was dark. I thought it was kind of dark. All the scenes were pretty dark. Except
A
the
lot of
dance
things
scene
were
was
like that in the
dark.
80s, though. You got to keep that in
Yeah,
mind. Like, that was kind of an
exactly.
aesthetic. A lot of things were dark in the 80s.
Yeah. But did the cave look cheesy, look plastic, and everything?
Before
Yeah.
you give your score, you do know that was actually, there was a reason why a lot of 80s movies were done more darker grain back then.
It was dark like neon. There was some
But
reddish.
I'm saying, you know
yeah.
the reason why they did that in a lot of 80s movies.
No, why?
It was to cover up things that they couldn't do in budget.
Makes sense.
Lower light
Yeah.
means you can't see the imperfections.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
did that a lot in the
Makes
80s
sense.
movies. A lot. Alien did a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of movies did that in the 80s to cover up things that they just couldn't do. Video
They
games
yeah.
did that too. It's like when you had video games that were like they had fog or they had dark in the background, like on PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
1. Like if you were to play like Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill game, it was covered in fog.
Okay.
They didn't put the fog in there because they wanted that in there. They put it in there
Yeah,
to
just
cover up
cover up all
cover up shit that they didn't want people to see.
Makes sense. Yeah, I give it a 2.5 simply because I'm going to be fair.
Oh, wow.
It was 80s, so they, I don't know. They just didn't have that ability, I guess, to just make it better looking.
I don't know.
But it wasn't
I
bad.
I gave
2.5.
I gave it a 4. And the reason I gave it a
Okay.
4 was because everything that I seen in the movie was fairly standard, what you would expect. It wasn't bad. It was actually it for the practical effects and all that shit. It was I know like a lot of shit, like for example, we look at them hanging upside down and we're like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But in the
yeah,
80s that was a lot harder to achieve.
I'm sure.
You had to have a lot more wires and a lot
Actually,
more
I
all that
actually
other
gi-
shit.
I
so.
give it a higher score due to the soundtrack. Matter of fact, I want to find that if I can get it. Just get it on
It's
Spotify.
yeah, it's a good soundtrack. I love it. I've heard it before, especially the original. I actually have the original that song you're talking, the "Cry Little Sister." I have that in a lot of
Yeah.
my playlists. I actually enjoy that
Yeah.
song. I give it a 4. Like I said, fair. It wasn't great, but it definitely was. The practical effects were good and all that other shit. It felt what it felt like. It felt like 1987.
About 80s, that's for sure.
Yeah, it felt 80s. It felt like 1987. So yeah, I give it a 4. I didn't hate the production of it. Soundtrack was good. Quality of the soundtrack was good. Everything you would expect from the 80s was exactly the way it should have been in the 80s. So,
Yeah.
so I give it that. All right,
It was average. Yeah.
we're gonna get past this one real quick. What do you give the overall woke score?
Any move a meter.
I'm saying there
Standard one. Yeah.
was no wokeness. I mean, you couldn't tell the difference between a dude and a chick in the 80s anyway, so
And
no one
if
cared.
there was, I don't remember what
There
wokeness
wasn't.
would have been in the 80s.
Unless you want to consider wokeness, yeah, everybody was like very feminine looking. But nobody.
I guess
That
that
was.
was the norm.
But that wasn't really woke. That was just the times.
That was
You know?
just teenager culture. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was.
It's like saying everybody wore big ass jeans and shit in the 90s. You're not going to hate them
Yeah,
for it, right?
No,
All right. So moving
right.
on to the final overall of The Lost Boys. What do you give the overall score of The Lost Boys?
You're gonna be disappointed.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Let's see what it is.
I give it a 5, right down the middle.
Wow.
It was an average film. I don't know. Yeah, it was an average film.
You know what's fucking crazy?
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
makes
it is.
sense to give a
It
5.
wasn't a great 80s film. It was an average 80s film.
No, I've
it's-
definitely seen way better vampire movies, but they were the pioneers, kind of in a way of it. So I'm gonna give them that.
It was what it was. It was an average vampire flick in the 80s. People made a lot of movies, especially horror movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was a filler movie. It wasn't great. It wasn't a blockbuster hit. It was a fun movie to watch in the 80s.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm surprised about is I was actually surprised that you didn't like it as much as I thought you would.
Yeah, I don't know. I went into it with high hopes. Me,
I know you love campy, cheesy shit. You know what I think it
Love
is?
it.
You know what I think it is? I'm going to call it.
yeah.
I know exactly why this movie didn't excite you the way I thought it would.
What is that?
Had no titties in it.
That probably played a big factor.
I guarantee
My
you if this had
old man
1980s,
brain.
yeah, I guarantee if you had 1980s titties and fucking in this film,
Oh,
you'd be like,
fuck
man,
yeah,
this was a
dude.
10.
I would love some blurry 80s titties, dude.
I know. I think that's what
yeah.
it's missing. I think that's the one thing that I overlooked was the fact that it didn't have 1980s titties in it.
Yeah, and some nice plumpy ass 80s titties that today would be like 60. I don't care.
I don't know, man. There was some nice little perkies. Like those like borderline B ones.
Oh yeah, I know, dude. That 80s had something that I really liked. They had average titties. Today,
Yeah.
all titties are enhanced and
You know what?
big
I
ass
know this is gonna piss some woman off, and it is what it is. I'm
titties.
not ashamed of it. You know the one thing that was big in the '80s that I wasn't a fan of?
What's that?
Bush.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they didn't keep that.
Yeah, that was big in the '80s. Bush, man. Everybody was
know.
like, "Fuck it, pull it out," and it's like,
The
bam.
lawnmower, ladies.
Shit, that even passed into the '90s because I'm telling you, like in the later '90s, like mid '90s to later '90s, I dated a couple girls with some Bush.
even some older porn had Bush in it.
Oh, the '70s, so the '70s into the '90s, it was all Bush.
70s and 90s had Bush. Yeah.
Oh, it was a big thing. They weren't even like cutting into like cool shapes or anything. They were just like bam.
Yeah, no, they would just bam, just Afro Bush.
Putting like Jerry curls and shit in it.
Yeah, braiding the shit.
Braiding it and shit. Looking like the Predator. Oh, fuck. But yeah, that is the Lost Boys for us, guys. I really thought this was going to be I thought it was. I knew what I was going with, but I don't know. I contribute it to the lack of titties. I think you would have probably liked it more if there was titties.
Maybe. I'm just written that way. My old head brain is like no.
Like if it's a B movie, it's because you look at all the Friday the 13th movies and shit.
Oh,
it's like they were cheesy as shit.
Yeah, but they had titty.
Plus, I know what your favorite. I know what your favorite style movie is. I do know what that is. Your all-time favorite style of movie is teenagers going camping and getting and being stalked by a killer. That's your favorite thing.
Yeah, and a bunch of blonde chicks just running around with their ass and titties. Yeah, just hanging out and getting butchered.
I'm aware.
That's sexy.
That's like a wet dream of you.
That's a turn on to me.
Like you want to be Jason chasing them around and shit. Like I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Like that's a wet dream. Like, oh man, I had one of those Friday the 13th wet dreams again.
Yeah, one day when virtual reality becomes real,
I'm doing it. I'm so doing it, right? That's fucking hell.
So doing it.
But that is the quest, guys, and that is on the Lost Boys. Like we said, it is a classic. We don't do too many of these back to back, so don't worry. I mean, if this one's gonna pop up, it is there. We'll have something. Like, yeah, it varies of everything, right? But we're not gonna do like back to back 80s movies for you, right? They're gonna be separated around, okay?
Yeah,
because we get it.
A little bit.
This ain't the 80s show. This is a movie show. So, so yeah. Again, take it or leave it. If you're a horror fan, I would say it's a classic. You should have it. You should at least see it at the very least.
You have to consume it at least once.
Yeah,
because
even if you hate it, you at least have to consume it.
Yeah,
have to. Like it's definitely part of the consumption meter. But again, I don't think I would rent it unless you're a diehard. I wouldn't rent it. Wait for it to be if it's still available on. By the time you see this, if it's still available on Max or anywhere else, watch it. If not, I would say if you're not a diehard fan, you wait until it's available on a streaming service.
Yeah,
it's an older movie. So I'm going to be very, very, very. Again, it's a very average movie. It's a 5. I probably would. 6-year-old me would have given this a 10.
Yeah.
Probably. But 6-year-old me in the 80s would have given this a 10. 40-year-old me in the later 2000s.
40-year-old me wasn't too impressed.
Yeah, 40-year-old me, it's average. Definitely a classic though. I mean, this was again. Now I've checked it off your fucking list. You've seen it, love it or hate it. You've now seen it. That's all I was worried about.
I can say I've seen it.
Exactly. So now we're going to move on to the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed this on your hump day as we do, because that's when we release this. Hopefully you enjoyed your hump day. Hopefully it's going well. Come join us over on NobleGI.com to find everything else we do, because we have Attacking the Topic. We have at least until the end of the series. I don't know when this is going to air, so who knows? But you can watch all the replays of Grim Tales the podcast if they're not live anymore. Season 1, season 2. You can also see our full schedule. Everything past, present, and future is there. NobleGI.com merch store. Get over there, okay? Merch store is that's one of the ways you can actually support us. Get over on the merch store. What else do we have? Also, Also, keep in mind the schedule gets updated. It's going to be there. It has access to our Discord, affiliations, Synthpop Radio, VNG Dev, Abomination Realm, fucking long day. Everything's there. Nobullgi.com, NOBULLGI.com. Check it out, guys. But it is that time of the night, guys, to get the fuck out of here. Yeah?
Sure is. I'm tired. My ass hurts.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's time to get out of here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And we will see you when we see you.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys.